they were unaware the scaffolding netting materials had been mixed with substandard ones, describing the situation as regrettable. They also note that the existing monitoring mechanism had clearly failed to prevent such issues. Cui said he received repeated complaints about workers' smoking habits and attempted to address the situation through contracted prestige, but efforts to stop that were ignored. A 10-day ceasefire announced by U.S. President Donald Trump and agreed on by Lebanon and Israel appeared to be holding in Lebanon early Friday, potentially boosting efforts to extend a ceasefire between Iran, the United States, and Israel. Tracy Furness reports.
Gunshots heard over the skies of Beirut at midnight Thursday into Friday. But this time it was not about warfare, but celebration over the ceasefire agreement between Lebanon and Israel going into effect. The agreement could boost attempts to extend the ceasefire between Iran, the US and Israel after weeks of devastating war. Israel has not been fighting with Lebanon itself, but Iranian-backed Hezbollah militant group inside Lebanon. Departing the White House en route to Las Vegas Thursday, US President Donald Trump hailed the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon.
Actually, it's very exciting because it's 48 years. We're going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, as you know, and the president of Lebanon. And I had a great talk with both of them today. They're going to be having a ceasefire, and that'll include Hezbollah.
Israel's UN ambassador was cautious about the 10-day ceasefire in Lebanon.
We will have to follow very carefully what's happening on the ground. And if we will feel threatened, we will react. We are not going anywhere. We are holding our positions. We agreed for 10 days holding those positions, having a ceasefire. And we all know that, the problem is not with the Lebanese government. The problem is with Hezbollah. And it will be challenging. We believe in direct negotiation with Lebanon, but we are aware of the complexity that you deal with the Lebanese government, but Hezbollah, they don't take orders from the Lebanese government. They take orders from Iran. We know it's complex, but we are willing to give it a try.
Tracy Furness, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump expressed optimism a deal to end the Iran war could soon happen. He told reporters another round of in-person talks may take place this weekend. Danny Rao tells us more.
Speaking to reporters on the White House South Lawn, U.S. President Donald Trump expressed optimism a deal to end the Iran war could soon be brokered. Trump also said he could go to Pakistan, where officials have been heavily involved in mediating negotiations between Washington and Tehran.
Just so you know, Iran wants to make a deal, and we're dealing very nicely with them. We've got to have no nuclear weapons. If we do, that's a big factor. And they're willing to do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago. I would go to Pakistan, yeah. Pakistan has been great. They've been so good. Islamabad, I might go, yeah. If the deal is signed in Islamabad, I might go. The field marshal has been great. The prime minister has been really great in Pakistan. So I might go. They want me.
The 14-day ceasefire between the US and Iran is set to expire April 22nd, but Trump said it's possible the deadline to make a deal could be pushed out further. Trump said he would extend the deadline if he felt a deal was close, and another round of in-person talks may take place this weekend. Iran's nuclear ambitions have proven a key sticking point in the talks so far. The US reportedly proposed a 20-year suspension of all nuclear activity by Iran and for any highly enriched uranium to be removed from the country. Tehran is said to have suggested a halt of 3 to 5 years and demanded international sanctions against it be lifted. The war has led Iran to effectively shut the Strait of Hormuz to ships other than its own. The US has sought to ramp up pressure on Iran's oil-dependent economy by imposing its own blockade on ships traveling to Iranian ports. On Thursday, the US widened its blockade on Iranian shipping to include what it called contraband, such as weapons, ammunition, nuclear materials, crude and refined oil products, as well as iron, steel, and aluminium. The US Navy said any vessel suspected of trying to reach Iranian territory will be subject to visit, board search, and seizure.
All vessels are advised to immediately return to port if leaving and discontinue transit to Iran if that is your next port of call. Do not attempt to breach the blockade. Vessels will be boarded for interdiction and seizure, transiting to or from an Iranian port. Turn around and prepare to be boarded. If you do not comply with this blockade, we will use force.
However, Chairman of the US Joint Chiefs of Staff Dan Kane said the US military had not yet boarded any ships and that 13 had turned around. Dan Rowell, TV News.
And still ahead. Almost 100 people died due to traffic accidents last year. Half were pedestrians.
增高梗係揀number one